I hate this game. I hate it so much. Oh my god. It's gotta be the worst game I ever played. And I played Sonic 06. Think about that. When you make a game that's worse than what is widely considered one of the worst games of all time, you need to rethink your career. Okay. First off, the story freaking sucks. It takes a very interesting concept and somehow butchers it. And that's just... The soundtrack... I don't care for the soundtrack. It's not very memorable. The songs aren't that good. Except for the Velvet Room theme, which is always going to be good. The characters... They're okay. I like the characters even in Persona 1 better. I mean... This game just sucks. It sucks so bad. Anyway, time to go into detail about why this game is awful. Anyway, let me tell you the premise just to start it off. Basically, you're in a city and rumors start coming true. Okay? So, like, there's this curse on, like, a rival school curse your school. Like, they curse the emblem or something, so, like, all the students are, like, getting disease on their faces. I don't know what it is. But basically, in the city, rumors come true. And when a rumor becomes powerful enough, it becomes reality. Very interesting concept. I read the back of this game going, huh, they could really do a lot with this. They could do a lot with this concept. They don't. How even if it says on the box and in the game that, and you can do this, you can use other rumors that you hear. You can like pay a detective agency to spread rumors to make it reality. I only used that option once. I used that option to set up which shops sell what stuff. And that's it. You would think that if you were a bunch of kids trying to solve why this rumor was happening and to protect the city, you would be using this to bend reality at your freaking fingertips. I would spread a rumor that I would have like a freaking artillery, like a military grade artillery with like bombs, some machine guns, flamethrowers in my garage so I can fight these things. But no. Anyway. That's just the first thing, and believe me, there'll be more. So, and it turns out that you think that a guy called the Joker, who is very Joker-ish in appearance, although he kind of sucks. You basically, okay, so you basically fight this guy who like took your bike or something, took your bike keys. I forget. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't want to remember. His name is Michael, I think, and he's actually one of the better characters. He's actually the character that I like the most. He's actually pretty funny. I will admit, this game does have good humor. I will say, it did get a few good chuckles out of me. That is the one and only good thing about this game. The one thing in this game that prevents me from taking a flamethrower to this. Anyway, you fight him, and then this girl who's been like stalking you, she like has a major crush on you named Lisa. All three of you go into I forgot to mention this in my Persona review. You go into basically the stream of consciousness, I believe it is, and then you find a guy called Philemon. He's basically the guide for the people in Persona 1 and 2. He's always watching, he just guides them. He can't directly interfere, but he just guides them. He doesn't appear in Persona 3 or 4. Thank God. But I'll get back to this later because this, from the beginning, the second this guy shows up, the plot just goes downhill because the plot starts out okay. Like, there's this secret, like, organization that plans to, I don't know, take over the world or fulfill a prophecy, which, again, is stupid. Look, if you're gonna make a game called Persona, why would you make a plot concerning people with a secret organization and aliens? I'm dead serious. It involves aliens, it involves crystal skulls. Yes, it was Indiana Jones 4 because before Indiana Jones 4 was Indiana Jones 4. That's a good sign, right? Oh, hey, It's a bad sequel that I just realized Indiana Jones 4 is a bad sequel that drew inspiration from an even worse sequel. And okay, battle system. It's just like the battle system in Persona 1, save for just a few changes. Each character can only have one persona on them at a time. You have to go to the Velvet Room to change personas. I only got a new persona once from the Velvet Room because you can negotiate with the demons in this game, only except they don't give you their cards. They give you a certain number of cards from a certain arcana. Like if you negotiate with this demon, they will give you like 10 cards of the Sun Arcana. And you need a lot of cards for just one persona. You have to like grind for 2 hours to get at least one decent persona. And you can negotiate with them again. Now, unlike in Persona 1, which I will give it credit for allowing you to skip the dialogue because it's very repetitive, you cannot skip the dialogue or actions in the negotiations for Persona 2. And there are group negotiations, like you can team up with a partner to negotiate, but these get very annoying very fast. I mean, they're entertaining the first time. Why couldn't they give you an option to change it? Why? And now there's like 5 different attack options. Well, not 5 different attack options. Bleh. 5 different attack attributes. So there's even more! And you have to go to the enemy's info, look up their weakness, which gives you no real advantage to battle. I mean, it does a lot more damage, but then again, I would just attack, because my characters are relatively strong enough. Okay, at least in this game, all the characters gain equal XP. Which, I will say, it's, what would you call it? It's an improvement over Persona 1 in that regard. Also, your teammate heals whenever they get a level up, which is nice. It makes the game really easy, and trust me, this game is easy enough. It is... I'll tell you something later that will show you just how easy this game is. It's pretty ridiculous. I haven't got started on how bad this plot is. Okay, then after that, it turns out, like, you meet this girl named Maya, and Yukino from the first Persona comes back. And I actually like her. She is actually my second favorite character in this game. She is... Of course, she leaves when Jun joins her party again. Spoiler alert. You know, I'm not even going to warn spoilers. I'm not even going to say spoiler territory. I don't care if I give you spoilers. It will save you the time and effort I put into this piece of crap. In fact, the only reason I finished this was so that I can rip on it for you guys. You better thank me for this. Oh my god. Okay. So basically, yeah, but I forget exactly what happens. It turns out you think the Joker is your friend that you lost a long time ago called Jun that you think accidentally killed. Your friends think that they killed Maya and they think they killed Jun. And then you basically go to, like, after stopping the organization schemes, like, they're based off the Chinese zodiac. You know, it's very boring. Although I will praise this one part where a guy working for the organization, like, you're trying to stop them. Okay, the organization's goals, they, it's a lot like apathy syndrome from Persona 3, only except not nearly as cool or good. Basically, the organization, they want to collect people's ideal energy, roll with it, basically their desires. And when they take your ideal energy, you basically become like a zombie. Okay, since it's a Persona game, I'll just roll with that, even though I really don't want to, okay? Anyway, basically the president of a student council committee of a school, you find out that he's been holding a party and he plans to gather all the people at the party's ideal energy into a crystal skull. And that's actually what I first thought when I saw this. I'm like, oh, hey, you think Indiana Jones got inspiration from that? Basically, fight an easy boss fight, and then he basically throws you into the... No, he basically says, okay, what you want is in there, or like, you have to follow me in here. And basically, it's a dungeon, and I actually thought this was clever the way they use the rumors. It's a dungeon where it's been rumored. Rumor has it. Okay. How do I even reference? I don't know why I reference songs I don't like. I don't know. Basically, it's been rumored that nobody has nobody has seen the exit to this place. Therefore, no one has escaped. You basically just have to travel in circles like 3 or 4 times, and it's pretty big. Well, easy enemies at least. The entire game is easy. And then Yukino, she figures, wait, she said no one has seen this directly, so I'll just use my camera or my mirror to look around. Oh, look, an exit. Okay, that was actually pretty cool. I was going, that's actually a clever thing they did with this, which is the only clever thing they did with this premise. Anyway, now this is where the plot gets pretty damn ridiculous. It turns out that your friend Maya is like the Mayan like maiden or something, that if she's killed with like a holy lance, it'll like create like a new war and destroy it. And then sorry, your friend Jun, he creates shadow versions of all the characters that they have to fight. And then when they fight them, they get upgrades. Kind of like in Persona 4, only except in Persona 4, it's handled much, much better. In this game, the shadows freaking suck. They have a shadow for the main character. Yes, they have a shadow which is supposed to be critical to the plot of a silent protagonist. And of course, all the shadows are annoying. However, in Persona 4, they had a reason to be annoying. In this game, they're just annoying. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. I'll get back to those later. It turns out your friend Jun has been, your friend Jun, the organization, I forget their name, and apparently a resurrected Third Reich are working together. Yes, he's teaming up with a resurrected Hitler. Now, when I first saw this, I was thinking, this is awesome. I can't wait to fight resurrected Hitler. They can do no wrong with this premise. And I'm being very honest with that. I thought, when I saw resurrected Hitler, I said, so I'm fighting the resurrected Third Reich with a guy with a sword, a girl who punches, a girl with a gun, a girl with throwing knives, and a guy who uses a guitar case that is really a machine gun in disguise. I'm gonna fight a Third Reich with mecha. That has like battle mecha. That is freaking awesome. But they don't do anything with it. There's no reason for resurrected Hitler, and it's a really disappointing reason why there's a resurrected Hitler later. But basically, you have to... This is an abridged version. I'm cutting out all the filler crap. And yes, there actually is filler in the game. Oh, wait. So basically, when you're trying to stop the organization's evil schemes, you come across a cosplayer warrior who thinks that you're the bad guys and that she's a good guy for working with the organization. Why couldn't the game be about her? I mean, when I saw her, I said, okay, where did this girl come from? What's her deal? Why can't I play as her? You know what, again, I'm getting back to this. My pet peeve about video games. Or anything really. When you introduce something which will make a far better movie, or a far better premise, or a far better main character, you have failed as a story writer. Seriously, I could write a much better game concerning that cosplayer character, which unfortunately only appears twice because she is really freaking funny and really entertaining, unlike a lot of the other characters in this game. But that was just so cool. I really wish the game was about her. That would have made a good game. That would have been a wonderful, like, satire of video games and anime in general. It could have been, but no, we have this instead. Again, one of the many poor design decisions made in the creation of Persona 2. Anyway, like, basically the Third Reich organization, they like lift up, like they're trying to gain alien knowledge, like bring the aliens back, and you do fight the aliens at one point. It's pretty weird. And like one of your teachers is investigating the aliens. It's stupid. But basically the organization at one point raises the city up into the sky, And right now you should be thinking, oh wow, this is really cool how this is happening. Like, wow, there's a city floating in the sky. And like 4 mysterious temples have arrived, like one of earth, fire, wind, and water. But no! It's boring. This is where the plot gets really bad because like the Third Reich unleashed their secret mecha army. And how do you not... Okay, 70 years... Okay, almost 70 years after the Third Reich fell. How did... Okay, I know this is a video game, but how does nobody find this secret collection of Third Reich military equipment? How did nobody find this? Okay, nitpick, but come on. Okay, so you go into these temples. I don't know why you have to get the skulls. I really don't. I was just rolling with it. And of course, the temples are annoying. Okay. And then, at the end of the temple, you fight a shadow version of one of the characters. Oh yeah, you fight June. He's an easy boss fight. You get him back. Yukino goes back home. I don't know. She's like, oh, I gotta take care of people. You go get June. No, we need you in our party. You barely got Persona upgrade. You're staying. You are staying. You're cool. Then the plot goes downhill, of course. So basically, now here's the thing. When you first encounter a shadow in battle, you have been playing for a good 25 hours. You should know these characters by now. If there were any troubling issues that their dark side would have on them, you would think that they would be brought up now and then, or you would show them struggling. Not really. It really is just pulled out of the writer's butt. It really is. Like, it turns out Lisa has been like hustling old people for money. Again, never brought up, never been affecting her. Turns out like she just likes the most popular character and the most popular guy in the school, which is the main character, because she's insecure or something. You beat her easily enough. She gets another Persona upgrade. Oh, another thing. I'm getting off topic here, but I'll get right back to it, trust me. All the characters, except for the main character, get Persona upgrades. And this is actually the reason why I only use the Velvet Room once. Because all the other characters get Persona upgrades, but they can change Personas too. Like, they can equip other Personas. That leaves the main character at a huge, huge disadvantage. Because all the other characters get better Personas by default, and you're just stuck fusing. Which is very boring, requires a lot of grinding. Anyway, you fight her, then you fight Michael's Shadow. I forget what his deal was. Again, it adds nothing to the character. You fight Maya's Shadow, which, again, adds nothing to her character. And then you fight the protagonist Shadow. It basically... Now, it would have been nice if the Shadow was just silent like the protagonist. I wouldn't have minded that. That would have been cool. But, okay, when your teacher, Miss Psycho, a returning character from Persona 1, asks you, do you want to go to college? In the beginning of the game, I said, yeah, because I actually do. I want to learn more, you know? The protagonist, like the main character's Shadow, will basically just take what you said and then turn it around saying, oh no, you didn't want to go to college, you just wanted to... You just wanted to please society's standards. Interesting thought. No! I do want to go to college! Now, if that was the main character's choice, like if the main character said that on his own, that would have been interesting. At least a little interesting. Now, I know Persona 4 had shadows in the main characters. But you know what? Those shadows appeared when you barely know the character for an hour. You barely know them, and it adds a lot to the character. It does give them motivation. It gives them a reason why they are. In fact, it does show them... Okay, for Chie, it doesn't really show it. But you know what? It says, oh, so that's why she's friends with Yukiko. It makes sense. And that's why I do consider Persona 4 to be Persona 2 done way, way right. Persona 4 is hard. Persona 2 is really easy. It's insultingly easy. Now... I'm going to talk about what else? crap. Because there's this one point, some of the characters from Persona 1 return. Like in this game, like they're just in the city. They don't help you, of course, because, you know, God forbid you miss the help of people who have like level 95 personas by now, who should know how to deal with this thing. No, they just leave them there. Like you see Maki, you see Ellie. Cool cameos, you know, cool. But again, you would think Maki or Ellie would be like, oh yeah, let's help you out. We got these beasts of Persona here that can really help you out here. No, they just kind of stick in a cafe or in a beauty salon, just kind of helping you out. Now, there are shops, and they sell different items, of course. Now, there are different ways to heal your party. Now, this actually made me laugh. You can go to a tanning salon to heal your party. And how all my friends didn't get in the game get skin cancer, because I used this thing like 20 times when I was grinding for the final area, which I really didn't need to in retrospect. Because I used the tanning salon like 20 times, like every 30 minutes for 2 hours. That can't be healthy. And the guy running the place, he looks exactly, and I repeat exactly, like that Peter Parker meme. You know the face that goes like, he looks exactly like that. That cracked me up. I love that. That was actually the good point of the game. That was the high point, believe it or not. Which again is not a good sign if the high point of your game is a face that looks like a meme. And like you can eat food to raise your stats momentarily. Never did that. Never really needed to. Anyway, get back. Once you gather all the skulls, you can enter the final area, which is basically... Oh, wait, before. Before you find out that you think your friends killed Maya and June, you visit a temple, which apparently restores memories. Why? What? Why does it restore memories? How do they know about this power? Why? How does it work? Again, I call it the plot device mountain because the cheap plot device mountain, mind you, because again they just pulled this place out of their butt. It has no effect on the story, really. Well, it does, but yeah. And it turns out you guys were kind of responsible for creating the Mass Circle. Oh, that's the organization's name, right? The Mass Circle. You're kind of responsible for it, but again, I could have written something better. Anyway, when you're entering the final area, you guys are gonna flip. You guys are. I can already say. Okay. Okay, you guys are gonna love this. You enter the final area, and it turns out that your teacher is against you. And you actually find an alien mothership. Okay, a lot of good ideas. Crap execution. You find the alien mothership, you fight some aliens, and then you just leave your teacher unconscious, who was like crazy about killing like your friend. They don't restrain her. They don't wound her, like they don't stab her in the legs or anything to keep her from, because she's gonna wake up and she most likely will cause havoc for you. So yeah, they never restrain her, idiots that they are. Anyway, you continue, and then while you're in the dungeon, you would think, oh, now I'll see why rumors are coming to life. They never really give a good explanation for it. It just kind of happens. What? Yeah. And again, I never use the rumor option, but seriously, you're gonna let a good plot point like that just go to waste? It's inexcusable. It really is. Anyway, when you get into the final room, I'm not lying here. You fight resurrected Hitler in space! You fight a resurrected leader of the Third Reich with a katana, bare knuckles, a gun, a submachine gun disguised as a guitar case, and flowers in space. How do you manage to screw that up? How? It baffles me how they managed to screw a premise like that up. I mean, you really have to go off your way to make fighting Hitler in space suck. You give any, and I repeat, any high schooler, you make them write something which basically, okay, like let's say if I was an English teacher and I was giving kids an assignment that said, okay, write a story which has you killing a resurrected Hitler in outer space, end. Make the story end with you finding resurrected Hitler in outer space. I repeat, am willing to bet that any one of those kids can write a much better, far better story. Resurrected Hitler in outer... I can't get over that! They ruined one of the coolest things ever! And they even double ruin it because you find out it's not really a resurrected Hitler. It's a guy called Narl. I don't know his name. He was disguising himself as Hitler for, I don't know. It turns out like Narl is like, although they never say this, he's like he believes that he thinks that humanity can't evolve, and Lemon thinks that like humanity can evolve and gain control of their personalities, and they're having a war. Or like a battle, and that's basically what Persona 2 is. And when you see the guy's form as a final boss, it looks like an X-Death clone. I mean, it looks like Neo X-Death, only sucky, because it's only 7 feet tall. And it doesn't look that scary. Now, this is where I lost, and this is like the final punch in the face, too. This is the final just kick in the butt, or like kick in the balls, to anyone who played this game. This is why I did for the final boss. I am going to set main character to heal every turn. I am going to set this person to attack every part of this turn with a water spell. I'm going to set this person to attack every turn with a water spell. I'm going to set this person every turn to attack with a wind spell. And I'm going to set this person to attack every turn. I pressed triangle, which is the auto battle option. I put it on my side, and I played Final Fantasy IX for a good 20 minutes. I was looking over my shoulder and saying, yeah, they're doing good, they're doing good. I was just playing Final Fantasy IX. Great game, by the way. I beat the boss without even looking at the screen. When someone can beat the final boss without even touching the controller. And I'm not talking about like those story final bosses where you fight the true final boss gameplay-wise, and then you fight the final boss story-wise, which isn't really a battle. I'm talking the final boss gameplay-wise. When someone can do that without even touching the controller, you have failed as game programmers. You have failed as game programmers, Atlas. And then, when I said that was the final punch in the balls, I was lying, apparently. Because the teacher, which they didn't restrain or wound in any way, comes back and, of course, stabs a lance through Maya's chest, causing the apocalypse. And, of course, even though he hit us with, like, freaking nuclear missiles in battle, one step to the chest, dead. Standard RPG logic. You can walk off with supernova in battle, but if you get stabbed in a cutscene, you're done for. I always love that in RPGs. Best example, Final Fantasy VII. You all know that. Or hell, any RPG in general, really. And with action games, it's the exact opposite. The guy can take like 20 bullets in his chest during like gameplay, but if he he drowns in like 3 seconds in water in a cutscene, it cracks me up. It's hilarious. Anyway, basically the apocalypse happens and then Philemon, the Deus Ex Machina wizard, I'll call him that for a reason, he says, oh, I can twist back time and prevent this, and I can prevent any of this from happening. you're really doing the prince of all Deus Ex Machina crap. The king is, and it was all a dream. No, yeah, a dream is worse. This is the second worst form of Deus Ex Machina ever. Time travel to fix all the problems. And you won't, like, Tatsuya won't remember any of his friends either. Even Lisa, apparently. Why? What? Philemon, if you have time control, why don't you just banish Nartheop, or whatever the hell his name is, to a different dimension or something? Why? Why? I mean, why do you have to do the Deus Ex Machina crap? Why couldn't they just have him defeat Nartheop? That's easier. It's not as big a punch in the face. Sure, you turn back time, the game ends the exact way it starts out, except all the friends meet, conveniently enough. Really? That ending just pissed me off so much. Oh my gosh. Oh, another thing. I forgot to mention this in my Persona 1 review. There's this healing fairy named Trish, who runs like healing screens and dungeons. In both games, I never used her. Her prices are way too high, and I figure, you know what, I'm not going to use this, I'm just going to level up, making Trish completely pointless. And then Igor, cool guy in Return from the Velvet Room. I love Igor. He's a cool guy. Although in this game he has like 3 other people in his room. I forget their names, but one's like nameless. He's like the painter of souls. Then there's a guy playing piano, blindfolded in Riku style, which is actually pretty cool. And you have a singer. I like that. It's nice. It's not as cool as Elizabeth or like a freaking limo Velvet Room, but it's nice. I like that. Even though I never did use the Velvet Room. Well, barely. You see why I hate this game now? I'm sorry, I had to bring that up. You see why this game sucks? Okay, yeah, the art was improved. Art alone is not good enough to get a good game. The story... You've seen it, right? They took one of the coolest concepts ever and just butchered it. And it turns out outer space wasn't really outer space. It was just the stream of the conscious mind. Whatever the hell that means, I don't know. They never explain it. They barely explain any good things that ought to be explained. They don't explain why you need the skulls, at least not very well. They don't explain why the guy came back as resurrected Hitler. The plot is just bad. I mean, it is really bad. You know how in most games I find at least something redeemable? At least, you know, something that doesn't get me pissed off. Like in Star Wars, it was the exploration gameplay. That was fun. In Persona 1, it was everything but the gameplay. This game, it's everything. The music is non-memorable. The graphics are standard. The story is abominable. And... how did they screw this up? How could they screw this game up? And it got a second Persona 2 game. There are 2 Persona 2 games. What? Alice, what the hell? It's just so ridiculously bad. Okay, like the story was just boring all around. They never explained anything. There's several gameplay issues. It's boring. There's a lot of stuff that's not used. The story barely makes any sense. I wouldn't have finished this game if it wasn't a gift from my friend, and the friend who bought me this for Christmas. I do thank you. I thank you. This was a really good gift. Because the soundtrack that they include on this, sent it because the soundtrack is the only good thing about what's in this box. Let me tell you that much. I thank you, my friend. If you're watching this, thank you for this. Because if it wasn't a Christmas gift, I wouldn't have finished this. This game was torture. I had to force myself to finish this. The second part is Eternal Punishment. I'm not going to review that game. I'm not even going to play it. I'm not. I hate Persona 2 so much. They just did everything wrong. Like, everything that did not work in a Persona game, that can't work in a Persona game, they put it in this game. It is... There's nothing real about this. Like, you know how in Star Ocean 4 I said, okay, you know what? The story is crap, although the gameplay is fun. If you see this for $10 or $15 at GameStop, and if you skip all the cutscenes, you have yourself a fun time. This game, don't spend a cent on this piece of crap. Don't. I am dead freaking serious. I certainly feel a lot better. I'm so glad I got that off my chest. Anyway, things are coming up. I'm going to be reviewing Persona 3 and Persona 4 too. And trust me, those two games, I have nothing bad to say about those games. Alright? This is torchicguy signing off. Piece of crap. Alright, signing off guys. Bye.